That's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are two people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is there?
Hello, everybody. I'm John Self. Welcome to YourCAREER Community, our first office hours presentation. We are in Tyler, Texas, and we have a pretty full agenda for you today. Travis Roderick, it's good to see you. Kathleen Forbes, glad to have you with us, and everybody else that's joining on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Facebook. Now, effective December 1st, this will be a members-only feature. We're here every week to answer questions and to help one another find a better job, elevate the career. So let's get started and look at our agenda for today. First of all, transparency. I'm new to technology. It's an exhausting process just to get where I was today and to get everything out of whack. So it's a learning process. I want you to give me your critique, your feedback. How can we make this better? And I want you to also tell us what kind of content we can offer that will make it a better experience for you. That's what this is all about. Today, we want to talk really a little bit about the philosophy for this organization. We did traditional coaching for years and realized that people wanted more out of coaching than just to pay big fees for coaching. I mean, this is a really rotten thing to have to do, find a job in this marketplace. And so we wanted to create an organization that had some overarching themes that would be beneficial to people. First of all, education. We need to provide online courses. We will also be doing live courses. Next thing is the sharing of information and advice. It's not just, I've been doing this a long time and I've interviewed thousands of people, but this is also about your experience and about the things you're learning and the experiences you're having, the mistakes, the things you can share with other people to avoid. And that's the kind of information we want. As we move forward and become a little bit more sophisticated with the technology, we will also be having Zoom sessions, and those will have rooms. So when our membership grows, we can actually have special interest rooms. We want to have support from informational, tactical, and emotional support for one another. This is really hard. You're by yourself. If you have a spouse, that's great. But, after a while, they just want you to get a job. And if you're living by yourself, it can get kind of lonely. And so we want to be there for each other. And so that's kind of a schmaltzy, soft sort of approach to things. But I think that's one of the real benefits we can have with this community. And more importantly, we're going to create an advisory board of some volunteers that are concerned with their career, that want to turn around and help other people. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this before, but in my 27-year executive search, I can't tell you how many executives I saw get to the next level, turn around, and pull up the ladder. Well, in this organization, ladder pulling is not an option. So I hope that if you decide to become members of this organization, that you will be committed to these overarching values. And if you have other things that you think we need to focus on, that's really important. We're going to have some frequently asked questions and a code of conduct, which is about mutual respect, and to also be very respectful of the information that is shared. It's sort of like a Las Vegas formula. What's shared here stays here. The community page, and apparently we decided not to use Zoom today because it's trying to put it out to multiple platforms is just really, really hard. This is called StreamYard, and it makes it very easy. It's a very easy thing for me to control everything. And at my point in my technological journey, I need all the help I can get. This is what the community page looks like. And typically what'll be happen, it'll when we have these events, you'll get you'll click the office hours and it'll give you the link that you should sign up for. So if you're on the community page and you did that today, great. That's what it's supposed to do. If you can drop a chat for me and let me know if that worked today, that's great. This is new for Thinkific, and so there's still some bugs. So as I said at the outside, I'm learning, they're learning, and I hope you'll be patient with us and you can contribute to our learning. So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish. This is what the community page looks like, and we'll be adding tons of content to this. For those of you who are joining us who are not yet members, the membership for all the education, and there's 11 or 12 courses, about 3 or 4 hours of courses, downloads. We're creating an article, curated article library, all of that, $49 a month. Now, if you decide you need some additional coaching, it's $125 a month. If you come to me outside this program, it's $500 engagement and $250 or $75 per session. So this is a great way to join a community and get the help you need. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about a little bit about the competitive technological situation. And, what's happened now is they're using scanners, and those of you I've been coaching one-on-one know this. And what the scanners are doing is escalating the number of passive candidates that are being sucked into jobs. So in the old days, a recruiter would call you and you might be one of 15 or 20 people. Now you're one of 200 or 300 people because they're using LinkedIn profiles, using algorithms, high-speed computer scanners, and so it's making it a lot harder. So if you're applying online, the odds are now moving from 150 to 1 to about 200 to 1, and I imagine they'll go higher. Now, the other thing that's happening is that Chat GPT or AI is a lot further along than most people realize. If you're going to be around in the morning, I think I'm going to show you a little video of one of their bots, a robot, who now they're teaching it how to have feelings. They gave us Chat GPT to play with, to distract us, because businesses are way much further along than they're telling us. Okay. So that's an important thing for you to keep in mind. AI powered automation is dramatically upending the career management paradigm. And for those of you who keep going through situations and you get to the end and you didn't get picked or you didn't hear anything, that's not uncommon. And it's not because you're not a good candidate. It's not because you don't have a great story to tell. It's just we're going through this really tumultuous period and everything's being upended. And so you just have to have perseverance. You have to stay with it. But this is going to really play such a strong motivating factor for why you need to build a network. Because if you're sitting in home by yourself trying to find a job and you don't have an active network where you can be calling 30 or 40 or 50 people to help you get referred to jobs that are not posted, it can be extremely frustrating and extremely lonely. And you can only take so much rejection. So that's why this is going to be why AI is really upsetting the normal paradigm, and why it's going to be so important for you to be intentional with your networking, your career planning, and your brand management. You got to have the right tools. I love this picture. And for my friend Travis Roderick, who is quite the carpenter and do-it-yourselfer, who started his first business when he was 12 years old, building a barn. And every time I hear that story, I'm just amazed. I see this picture and I think he was much further along at 12 than I am today. You must have the right tools. You must have a career plan that's written. You have it in your brain, but the research shows that if you have it written down, you will do a better job in achieving those goals. You have to have your value brand statement. And this is not a one and done thing. As you move through the job search, as you move through your jobs, that's going to change. You'll refine it, tighten it, increase the focus. When you have a focused value brand statement, you can hear it in the interview, you can see it in the resume. So keep that front and center and look at it every week to be sure that you are staying focused. You have to identify stories to support your strengths. That we have a form called core and categorical interviews, and basically it shows you how to break down a job and then to break down your strengths and weaknesses for each of the categories within a job. And that helps you then come up with stories that will either amuse the interviewer, educate the interviewer, make a meaningful difference for the interviewer. The other thing we want to talk about is a networking plan, and that is so incredibly important. If you don't have a networking plan, you can't possibly build a network. And you don't want to just go, scatter shooting to build a network. You want to be very focused and align it with your career plan. Now, if you've been laid off or if you're going through a transition, that's not something you're going to want to, you're really going to be anxious to do, because your big goal is, I need to find a job as soon as possible. But don't not do this. Allow some time and work on it. And it's not a real convoluted process. Where do I want to be at the end of my working life? What do I want to be doing? And what kind of job will I have done? And how will the people respond to me? Because that won't happen. You need to plug all those things together and think about how you're going to lead, how you're going to communicate, and how you're going to be involved in the community. Video emails. People that I work with, they're tired of me talking about this, but it's so important. Why? Because I don't know about you, but if you try to deal with LinkedIn, it's a lot of noise and a lot of people selling stuff that you don't need and probably doesn't work that well. And half of them are from the subcontinent. So, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that LinkedIn is not really where you can go build relationships. It's a research tool. It may show you who's connected to who. It may help you find people that are associated with a company that you would like to target, but you're not going to build a relationship online. I was so hopeful that would be the case when it got started. I've been on the LinkedIn platform for 19 years, and it has just steadily deteriorated in terms of one-on-one peer-to-peer networking. You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent every day. The people out there that are looking for a job and have gone through just the ringer to get there, not because they're not good, but because it's just so competitive, will tell you that their best weeks and the weeks that follow are those weeks that they've been disciplined and they've been consistent with calling people, with looking for opportunities, for networking, for looking for actionable business intelligence. And you have to adapt, because the market's going to change, and it's going to change right under your feet. So as you start thinking about your strategy, you don't want to scatter shoot. You want to say, look, I'm a hospital CEO, or I'm a health system CEO, or I'm a health services CEO. You want to get focused on an area and not allow yourself to start moving all over the place, because you'll end up having applied to a lot of jobs and not really landing something that you will want to do. Go with your strength. If you're a hospital CEO and that's what you want to do, then start with that. Now, you may have to be flexible, but focus on that. And I know people aren't doing a very good job returning phone calls now, but you still have to stay at it every week. You have to try to look for opportunities that are not published online. Focus on targeted segments and the companies. Leverage your networking. It's not just about finding a job. It's about collecting an actionable intelligence, and be creative with your follow-up. I think the people out there who find information and then are creative in terms of how they get access to the people who are the decision makers, they're the ones that are doing a little bit better. Another thing we want to talk a little bit about today is managing your brand. When I came into healthcare in the dark ages, I think it was the Stone Age, if you did a good job, that was really, that got around and the recruiters knew who you were and people called you. But over the years, as the industry has changed, as it has gotten more competitive at the executive level, doing a good job is no longer enough. Unless your name is a household on the lips and tongues of recruiters all over America, corporate and search firms, doing a good job is not enough. That's only going to work for people who are household names. So you have to work and develop a brand, which is it's kind of linked in with your reputation. And you have to manage your brand, not just with what people say about you, but you have to push out on platforms like LinkedIn. You have to be involved in your association. You have to be willing to speak at the local group, at regional groups. You have to look for ways. If you're in a community, you have to look for ways to be involved in your community. You can't sit back and wait for people to come to you. You have to be very aggressive at managing your brand. And 23 years ago, creating and sustaining a personal brand was really costly, if not really impossible. I mean, if you wanted to build a career brand before LinkedIn showed up, you had to hire a PR firm. There weren't a lot of tools available to individuals like you and me that allows us to manage our own brands. LinkedIn changed that paradigm. And now a lot of the online tools allows you to be an art director, a video editor, a publisher of a newsletter, whatever. So now that puts all of these tools at your fingertips. But 23 years ago, LinkedIn changed everything. Now, it democratized the process, but the platform's success requires better planning and more creativity. I think when I went into LinkedIn 19 years ago, I think there were less than 10,000 people. Today, there are almost 1 billion members, and they're all trying to sell something. They're all trying to do Bitcoin. They're all trying to do some grifting hustle, whatever it is. The other challenge for you is in the last 2 years, LinkedIn reports that posts have increased by 41%. That means there's a lot of noise and a lot of people out there who are trying to get recognized or trying to sell you something. So you have to be unique. You have to have you have to be consistent with your messaging. You have to have a comm plan. So here is, what I want all of you to keep your LinkedIn profile current, and I want you to do it with colors and graphics to help attract people's eyes. Now, this is not going to attract the computer scanner's eye, but it will. There are still recruiters that are going out there looking. They'll get a bunch of names and they're doing things manually, and having a bright, kind of, really catchy profile page is very, very helpful. Up and under your headline, be sure you're using hashtags. Be sure that you're opening up the creator network that's under your profile. So open that up, because that helps you get seen by recruiters. But use pictures and colors that will catch people's eye, and that's really, really important. You need to have a comm plan. Now, my daughter is a big-time chief communication officer or chief internal communication officer for the Match.com, which owns multiple dating platforms in Dallas. And everything they do is driven by a communications plan. What are we saying? How are we communicating to our employees? What are we saying to the public? What are we saying to our investors? What are we saying to our customers? It's all driven by a set of values in a communications plan. And so don't just start, when you think about putting together organic posts and other things, be sure that your post address the plan. I have a sign on a picture right above my desk for my YouTube channel that says, what is your channel for, and what problem does your channel solve? Now, in the YouTube world, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but in the YouTube world, if you have videos, they're there to get a problem solved. And so the question is, what problem are you solving? Well, that has some relationship to you as a job candidate. What problem are you trying to help them solve? You want to also, as you move forward in developing a more robust social media presence, and you have to do that. I know some people don't like it, but if you don't do it, you're going to lose access to a lot of opportunity. It may, some of it's going to be opportunity you don't want, but you're going to lose out on a lot of potential interesting opportunities. Most of the great jobs aren't posted, but boy, believe me, if you just blow them off, you'll miss your dream job. So you need to keep a profile that's robust, that is colorful within the confines of what LinkedIn allows. And you also want to have really good content. Now, a lot of people say, you know, I don't have time for networking. I don't have time for social media. Let me tell you something. I understand that. Sometimes I feel like a one-armed paper hanger here because I'm creating everything myself. And I spend, the old joke is for entrepreneurs, Travis may remember this, on Friday afternoon, you stop, drink a beer and say, good, it's Friday, only 2 more days this week. I spend a lot of time writing content. You can download some fairly inexpensive scheduling systems. Now, one of the best known is Hootsuite. And it's listed, it's HOOTSUITE. It's pretty pricey. Loomly, LOOMLY, is about $24-25 a month. And that allows you to post all of your social media stuff in advance. So you get it done in advance. Even if you're on vacation, it posts at time and day of your choosing. Now, people say, what day should I be posting on LinkedIn? The best days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it varies in terms of what time your followers are on there. If you go to your LinkedIn profile, you have connections and you have followers. The connection is usually the bigger number. I do 2 things when I'm sending out my quotes of the day. The morning quotes post for my connections at 6:30 a.m. I'm not up, or I am up. I'm probably just coming home from the gym. But I'm not doing it manually. It was done 2 or 3 days prior. LinkedIn now has a scheduling tool that you can then schedule post that you create organically. Now, if you're trying to post something from some other site, a video from YouTube or something else, a story from Business Insider, it won't allow you to do that. It's only for organic content. But all of my quotes for this week were posted earlier in the week, so I haven't had to worry about it. And I post 2 times in the morning and 2 times in the afternoon. The morning, 6:30 for my connections, and for everyone, so that's everybody that sees the news feed, is about 9 a.m. for the morning quote. And then the afternoon, the quote's called After Hours, and it is posted 3:30 to 4, I think 3:30, and then another post then for everyone, that's for connections, and then everyone, it posts to 5:30 or 6, somewhere in that range. And so I don't have to worry about it. I get all of that done and set it all up. And I use a site called Canva, CANVA. They have free subscriptions, and it really allows you, people like me who are not creative with their hands, some people would argue not creative with their brains, but it allows you to create your designs. So all of this stuff up here on my LinkedIn profile were created with Canva, and it's not hard to do. Now, the next thing you want to do is don't lose your sense of humor. and there are some really great people out there. And I'm really lucky to know a lot of these people who are really working hard to find their next better job. And you just got to look for things that can keep you laughing. This was a commuter pilot in the Dulles Airport in Washington, going to one of the United commuter flights. And I saw that when I was one of my last visits to Dulles, and I thought, this is too good to be true. I believe this was April 1st. But you got to keep a sense of humor. And one of the things about being part of a community, whether you're working with a coach or you're in a broader community, that community, we should be there to help pick you up. Okay. And if you have a spouse, that's great, but there's a certain limit to what the spouses want to hear. Trust me on that one. So, we need to help each other. And that's something I feel very strongly about. Okay. Let's talk about frequency of post. Building a brand, you need to do that 4 to 5 times a week. And you really need to have quality content that aligns with your mission, vision, and value statement in your career plan. If you're just if you've gotten it established, if your brand's established, you feel, and you just want to do a sustaining thing, so not to get too visible so your boss might think you're trying to look for a better job, then that's something you can do maybe 3 times a week, Tuesday through Thursday again. If you're in the job market, 4 to 6 times a week at minimum, okay? And you want to spread out your things between organic and repost. You also want to be sure that you're targeting some of your posts to your connections and then repeat the post later in the afternoon for everyone. So you get double the mileage. Keep in mind, LinkedIn, Facebook, they are not searchable databases. Now, video, boy, I tell you, people get tired of me talking about this, but video is absolutely here to stay. And you've got to learn to master it. Now, you're not going to do what I do, which is I produce a lot of video content because that's part of my job. But you need to have video for your LinkedIn page. You need to use video to build connections that you connect with. The statistics are pretty amazing that if you get a video email, the research shows that you're 75% more likely to open that. Now, when you send out one of these videos using SendSpark or BoomBomb or one of the other programs, you always put a line up there, this video in the subject matter, this is a special video for you, and then put a disclaimer that the site is a Google Chrome extension and free of malware. And most people I find open it. When I send them a connection video and they say, "What's this?" That immediately says to me, I'm not sure I want to be connected with that person if they can't figure that out. But the thing about YouTube and why it's going to play a bigger role in your career management is that LinkedIn is a professional site for social media, but it's not a searchable database. So YouTube is the globe's second largest database. Okay, interesting. The largest is Google. Google owns YouTube. I think the FTC must have been taking a nap that day, but it's the second largest search engine in the world. And unlike LinkedIn, your posts are searchable. So I can go back and look at posts that I put up 10 years ago, and some of them have multiple thousands of views at this point. It can be very instrumental in defining your brand, elevating your visibility for computers and recruiters. There will be recruiters around. But after I saw that robot, I kept thinking, within 5 years, we're going to be talking to somebody on the phone, and it's going to be a nice, really a neat voice, and we're not going to know whether it's a bot or a real live person. And that's going to happen. I mean, it's amazing if you're with us in the morning at 7:30, the gestures, just the facial reactions, the eye movements are 100 times better than they were 3 years ago. And just think what will happen over the next 5 years as they really work on the technology. Now, we're working right now on an overview course for video. And it's a little bit of a challenge to put together. I'll let you know as soon as it comes up. If you are a member, if you are a Your Community member, that comes with your $49 a month membership. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, we use video a lot to communicate on LinkedIn to try to get people's attention. So whether it's for a birthday. Hi, John Self here. I just want to take this opportunity to wish you a very happy birthday and to extend my team's greetings to you with our best wishes for many more. Cheers. And I think you probably realize that was pre-hospital surgery and pre-weight loss. Here's what we send to our new connections. Hello, and thanks for connecting with me. This marks my 19th year of sharing and networking as a LinkedIn member. I believe that networking is about helping other professionals and adding value, not hammering your connections with sales pitch after sales pitch. Now that's my commitment to you. I run an online on-demand career management and job search strategies platform at johngself.com. I hope you will join me at 7:30 a.m. Central Time every Thursday for Career Live, where we have coffee together and share information and insights on career management, as well as answer your questions. Watch for our daily 60-second videos with career advice, and thanks again for connecting with me. Now, I guarantee you that will be a video, not one of those hey, John G, thanks for connecting with me, because you can't even remember those. That will be, if somebody's going to remember something, they're more likely to remember a video. Was that hard to produce? No. Listen, trust me, if I can do it, you're much smarter than I am. You will be able to do it. It's just a matter of kind of figuring it out. Now, I'm an Apple guy, so we have a Mac Studio, but I taught myself. If you have an Apple computer, it comes with something called iMovie, which is so easy to learn. Once you kind of pick it up, you can really, it's not hard to do. The graphics were done with Canva. And I have a paid membership because I use Canva like crazy, but it's only $12 a month. So this is all things you can do. Now, we're not talking about things that are going to, you have a Joe job, you have a regular job to do, but these are things that you can do to elevate your, these are things you can do to elevate your career. Keep in mind, if you send a video email with the right disclaimer about there being no malware, it's 75% more likely to be read, and the retention rate is 90% according to the research. And realtors use this a lot during the COVID crisis, and really swear by it. Video is extremely effective on LinkedIn. So that's kind of a lot of the things I wanted to cover with you today. I hope that's been helpful. We have a Career Live in the morning at 7:30 a.m. on YouTube and LinkedIn. And we're going to talk about AI a little bit and some other developments that are occurring. So I hope you'll join us. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take the questions. Just drop them in the chat. We're on StreamYard, but we're also streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you have any questions, let me know. This is our first one. Let's see, Lieutenant. A couple of additional technology tools to help. Okay, Travis sent this along. This is great. He ran across something called Magic CP Post. Is that right? Now, give me a thumbs up if I've got that right. Okay, I can't hear you. And then tealhq.com. That's a resume consolidation in CRM. And so that's really very helpful. Having a CRM, that's such a great thing that you mentioned, because you want to be able to collect information. When I moved away from executive search, we had a pretty robust database that I didn't want to keep paying for. So I got a lot of the information off of it, and probably wasn't as aggressive moving forward as I had been when I was a recruiter. And every day I rue the day that I have not been as aggressive. It took me almost an hour today to find one person's name. And I was looking for a book, and I was looking for a video trailer for her book. And we're going to use it in the morning at the 7:30 a.m. show. So having a CRM is really, really helpful. And these are great tools. I'm looking forward to trying that. Eventually, when I get a little bit more technologically proficient, I'll be able to unmute people. Let's see. I'll be able to unmute people. I'm not sure how to do it on this new system because we've got so many streams going out today. So, but thank you very much, Travis. Somebody asked me, they said, what should I do? I'm seeing more and more. This is a supervisor. I call supervisors leadership funnels because that's where leaders come from. A lot of people who are CEOs today started at a low levels. Usually their first management job was as a supervisor. What should I do if on the application, I'm asked to put my salary expectation? If I put too much, will they eliminate me? If I don't put enough, will they not think that I'm serious and experienced? That's a great question. Here's my recommendation, and I saw another coach that mentioned this the other day, and it made perfect sense. First of all, I spent most of my career at the executive and the director and management level, and so most of my searches, we just were very upfront about what the compensation range would be. So let me give you a couple of comments on that. First of all, if you're a supervisor just getting started, you don't have a lot of wiggle room on negotiation. If you have some unique criteria or some unique credentials that will help you do your job better or add more add more credibility to your work product, then you can probably use that to negotiate. Maybe if you're having to have interim housing during the transition, that's something you can negotiate for. But they're not going to go too far outside their wage and salary range. So just kind of keep that in mind. Here's what I would recommend that you put in that salary box if you ever run into it. Now, some states, California being one, now require total transparency about salary. So now people are asking about that. Put $1. Okay, that's right, $1. And the reason you do that is because A, it's not blank, so it won't trip up. If it's being scanned, it won't trip that up. And number two, if they've seen your resume, they're going to know whether you're a quality candidate or not. So the $1 is either going to intrigue them, it's probably not going to put them off. But I know several people, and law firms are really bad about doing this. They'll get an associate on the phone and try to say, okay, what's your salary expectation? They don't want to tell you what their salary range is. They want you to commit because they're looking to lowball you. And I think the best response there is to say, I am an experienced attorney that has an upward trajectory. I certainly am not asking for the high end of your pay range, but I expect I expect your compensation to be competitive with someone with my experience and my existing compensation. So I don't really, I'm very comfortable targeting the mid range of your salary scale. The truth is, if you can probably get yourself eliminated faster by asking for too much money at that lower level. Now, when you move to the C-suite and you're dealing with PE guys, private equity guys, or boards, there's a lot of negotiation that goes back and forth. Especially I've seen boards say, nope, not going to do it. Tell them this is the best offer we can do. They fall in love with the candidate, and then they can't seem to figure out enough ways to lure them there with more sweeteners. So it's when you're in the leadership funnel at the lower level, you don't have as much wiggle room. But as you move forward, some of the things we'll talk about is how to negotiate your salary, how to negotiate scope of responsibility, and that sort of thing. So see if anybody else has any questions or comments. Well, it's a 40-minute session today, or 45 minutes. And so hopefully we'll have more questions and more answers. If you know people that you feel that could benefit from this kind of training, this kind of interaction, that you feel would be beneficial in our community, please invite them. I think this is going to be the key to a successful business venture here, is that we have build a large, vibrant group of people. We want people who are serious about their careers. We want people who are respectful. We want people who are committed to sharing and helping one another. And so I hope that if you know people that might be a good fit, please refer them to our website, johngself.com, and have them click the community button at the bottom left-hand corner, or the little ribbon on that floats up and down the right side of the homepage. So, well, it's been great. I hope this has been an interesting, if not maybe hopefully a little bit entertaining, first office hours. As we move forward, we'll spend more time with questions and answers and thinking about job question scenarios and job search strategies. So if you have contributions or ideas you want to share, please let me know. And we will be back here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. here on office hours, our weekly live office hours. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.